Hey guys, Bobby here from Wedding Film School, and I'm coming to you from Jamaica, where I just finished up a destination wedding. And as I was packing up my bags, I thought it would be a great opportunity to share with you a video on how to pack for destination weddings. So in this video, I am going to break down everything that we bring, because we do change it slightly for destination stuff, as we want to try to travel as light as we possibly can. But more importantly, I want to show you what we like to use to pack things in and why, and most importantly, what stays with us, what gets checked, and things like that. So let's actually start off with that. And it's pretty simple as far as what stays with you and what gets checked. And there's kind of two factors that come into play. First is risk. So I like to assess, what can I shoot a wedding with? What can I not shoot a wedding without? And the way that works for us, you can see these are my 4 bags here. We have 2 of us, so there's also another backpack, another check bag as well. But everything that I take could fit in here. So as far as risk goes, I want all of my cameras, all of my audio gear, anything that I know, like, God forbid something happens, I don't get my bag, right? Because I checked it. I know I can still shoot a wedding. All 3 of these bags stay with me, or my wife, or whoever's with us, no matter what. These do not get checked. I will change my flight if I have to. I will pay an extra fee if I have to. Do whatever I have to. My wife will literally cry if she has to get out of checking this bag. This bag does get checked. Obviously, it looks that way. This bag has all of our support outside of the gimbal. The gimbal is a little bit more fragile, so I like to keep that with me. This bag has tripods, light stands. If I did bring a monopod or a slider or something like that, that would go in this bag as well. And then the nice thing about this is in the top is all my clothes, things like that. The second thing that goes into what stays with you and what goes below the plane is like the legality of it. So it's beyond just my opinion, which is that I want all my cameras to stay with me, but it also goes into, like, for example, the drone stays with me, not only because I want it to stay with me because I don't trust it really being checked, but also because legally it has to stay with me. Not actually the drone itself, I guess it's more the battery, but batteries are a big one. So the battery in these drones have to stay in the main cabin. You are not legally allowed to check those into the bottom of the plane. Also, batteries like these, which I carry like 8 of at least. These are the big Sony NPF batteries. These also are not supposed to be in below the plane in checked baggage. The reason for all of this is that these theoretically could, if they were damaged or punctured or something like that, they could catch fire. If it was below the plane, there wouldn't be a whole lot that could be done about it. So legally, like the LiPo batteries, lithium ion batteries, stuff like that, the drone batteries need to go in the main cabin with you. So make sure you take that into consideration when packing your bags. And so with all that said, again, I know that if I have these 3 bags with me, worst case, I could shoot a wedding completely handheld or something. It would be far from ideal, but it would also be easier to find tripods at maybe a rental house, but also just local people in the area who you could maybe borrow it from or rent it from or something. It'd be much easier to find tripods that you could just pop your camera on than to replace basically your whole camera setup, replace your settings within a camera and have to go through that. That would be a major pain. Now let's talk about what to actually pack your gear in. So you see all of my cases here. I'm gonna go through each one and just say why I love it. Starting with this backpack here. This is the Peak Design backpack. I used to have their sling bag and I really like that, but I just prefer weight distributed between both shoulders. I absolutely love this bag. So this works kind of in 2 ways. This is what I travel with. This goes under the seat in front of me on a plane, but this is also what I pack up for the wedding day. Now I have these cases with me as well, but these I typically, put in the reception area, put in the ceremony area, and just kind of leave them there. I will have to go back to them here and there, but this is what stays with me, stays on me throughout a wedding day. I might have a backup lens, another camera, I'll have different, batteries, cards, things like that. So I really like having this. It has tons of room. You can open the top here, which I have my gimbal in right now. I take my laptop out when I'm actually shooting, of course, but it helps me travel with it. And then you can open it from either side and it works like a camera bag. So you can see these dividers here. And these dividers also are like foldable so that you can really customize the inside of this. It's all Velcro and whatnot. So typically this is full with what I'm shooting with right now. And then you have these side pockets for things like batteries, cards, stuff like that. Next up, we have our hard cases. Now, these are what most of my camera and lens gear go into. Again, I never want to check these. I will do everything I can not to, but theoretically, I feel like I could. I feel like they would survive the damage. Now, these cases, this one I've had for probably 8 or 9 years. It has seen everything. It has been around the world with me, and it is held up. It's missing one handle. I think this top handle here broke off. But aside from that, it's done great. I've had no issues with it. I do it on the inside here with the like padded dividers, not the pick apart foam. I do have that in this, but I don't really like that. And then I also have this lid organizer on the top, and I absolutely love this. This thing was like 20 bucks. You like Velcro it in or something. I have so many cables, batteries, cards, more batteries, just easily into these smaller pockets so I know what's where. And then of course, again, camera gear and whatnot. And this one, similar. This is an SKB I-Series. I don't know what the model number is. I'll link it down below in the description. This one I just bought. We are kind of switching over to this handheld rig or testing it out. I don't know that I can speak to the long quality endurance of this. This thing was super cheap. It was like 60 bucks or 80 bucks or something like that. It has wheels, it rolls, it has a big pull-out handle and stuff. It does have the pick-apart foam, which I don't really love. But I can say just from using it a couple times, it seems really well built. Now, again, stuff could break in a year and I would be totally wrong. This one I know is worth it. This one does seem to be really well built for the price. And last but not least is this bag. Now, this one is brand new because I broke my other one, which lasted me probably close to 10 years, being used for both business and personal. I showed you in the bottom here. I like this because it fits my tripods lengthwise, my monopod light stands, although I do have travel specific light stands. And the bottom here is hard. It is padded on the outside with like some fabric, but it's a hard bottom. And then the top is like a duffel bag. It's got plenty of room also on the sides and stuff like that for clothes and whatnot, which kind of helps pad that as well. I do have like tripod cases, I think like Tenba makes one, Newer makes one. I have one of those that's really long and it's, you know, I don't know, 2 feet wide or something like that to fit light stands and tripods and whatnot. But I don't really like traveling with that thing. I don't think it can hold up well when it's actually fully loaded. And if I can travel with something that is more inconspicuous, something that is also more well-equipped to just pack like my clothes and things like that, I prefer that. And that might be me. Other people might be different, but I do really like this bag. So now let's talk through the gear that I brought for this wedding. Of course, every wedding is different. I knew generally, you know, what we'd be shooting, where we'd be shooting, stuff like that. So I kind of based some things around that, and that could change wedding to wedding for me. Starting off in this bag, I have 2 tripods, 2 light stands, and then I also pack all of my like chargers and stuff like that. I do have some chargers in my backpack or in here, like I could charge my batteries or something like that. But just like random cords and cables and just that kind of thing all go in the bottom of this. And then again, in the top, clothes. In this case, I mentioned that we're kind of playing around with a handheld rig. And that's here. So this was the pick apart foam. So I kind of had that all set up for that rig, for my monitor on that rig, like the follow focus and stuff like that. I also have the drone in here. And then this is I guess a backup camera. This is a 5D Mark III. This is like my 4th camera, I guess. I do use it sometimes though on a wedding day normally. And then the drone, so this is a new case, like I mentioned. I just built that out actually before this wedding. And typically, if I did not have this whole handheld rig, this camera would be in this case as well. And then the drone would be in its own bag. Moving on to this case, and this is where most things go. So just by compartment here, I have cards and headphones in here. I have AA batteries, the gimbal batteries in here. I have XLR cable, or basically my 3 audio cables in here. I do have a video on the 3 audio cables that I use for every single wedding. You can check that out. I'll link it up above. Down here are batteries for my cameras. Down here is like random old, lav mics for the Zoom H1, an extra set of batteries. And this is also mainly what I use this for, is to put dead batteries. So once AA, AAAs, or camera batteries are dead, they go in here. And then I have my air blower. I've got my A6500 camera body, which is my 3rd camera. You had the A7S II in here, which I'm using as a main camera, and the A7 III is what I'm filming on right now, and that will typically go in here. I have all my audio, so that is my Tascam DR40, my Zoom H1s, my Tascam DR10X, as well as my DR10L lav mics. I have 2 of those. I have 2 lights, 2 torch LED lights. Now, I bring those on a destination wedding as opposed to my bigger lights, the Godox lights, mainly because those would be a pain to travel with. They would be a separate piece of luggage that I would need to take. And in most scenarios, I can make these work. Now, I prefer the Godox lights. I use those for all of my weddings that aren't destinations I don't have to fly to. But 2 of these can get me through most scenarios. All my lenses, I have my monitor, and then I have a bunch of batteries. So that's pretty much it for this case. And then in my backpack here, I mentioned I have my gimbal, I have my laptop, I will have this camera that I'm recording on right now, and that is pretty much it. I'll have a few things for the flight, like my Nintendo Switch and some snacks and things like that. So all in all, as far as gear goes, we are bringing 4 cameras. We are bringing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lenses, and then monitors, cables, batteries, things like that. And support-wise, we have the gimbal, we have 2 tripods, and 2 light stands. So we really tried to trim down on the support. We didn't bring a slider. We did not bring a monopod. Those are things that I like to have. Those are things that if I'm driving to a wedding and I can just throw it in my trunk and leave it there and take it if I need it, I do like to have that. It's always great to have that option. But when it takes up room, when it takes up weight, and things like that, at least in this scenario, we opted to go without those and focus more on the cameras. So that's pretty much it as far as packing for destination weddings. Again, going over not only what we pack, but what we pack it in, which is incredibly important, as well as, most important to me, what stays with me, what doesn't stay with me, what I can check, what I don't feel like I can check. I would love to hear your guys' thoughts if you're doing anything different, if you've checked camera gear and how that's gone. That gives me like massive anxiety. I don't think I'll ever do it if I can help it, as far as like cameras and lenses. And again, I will link these 2 cases, the backpack, which I love, in the description. You can check that out. Some of this is on our kit page as well. If you guys have any questions, leave them down below in the comments. And as always, I'd love to have you like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.